Hello, welcome to the first episode of Slab Talk. Okay, over the past three plus years on YouTube, I got a lot of comments and questions regarding slabs on many areas, and I figure it's a good thing to have a series talking about slabs in general. I have talked about slabs in many different videos, but being OCD that I am in wanting to categorize all my videos under certain topics to make it easier to create a playlist, I decided why not have a series called Slab Talk, where I talk about slabs, good or bad, going forward. And so this is episode 1, and today's topic is on the grading consistency of the slabs. For those that watch enough of my videos, I am not a fan of slabs. I prefer to own raw books to enjoy, but that does not mean that I hate slab. There are some misconception out there that say, "Oh, Nick, you hate slabs." Just because I talk negatively about something does not mean that I hate it. It's I know the way my brain works. I put things sometimes into categories that a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray area when it comes down to slab with me. Surely I have used the service of both CGC and CBCS many times over the past 10 years, and I will continue to do so. And I have bought slabs here and there. There are books that are so hard to find that the only time you can find a copy is buy a slabbed copy already in an auction. So do I hate slab that I don't buy any slabs? No. I bought 3 in the past year and a half. So no doubt I prefer my book raw, but I will buy slab here and there if needed, and I certainly will utilize the service of either CGC or CBCS if needed. Okay. But the topic today is grading consistency. I know a lot of people that buy slabs focus on the numerical number on the top left, but I cannot stress enough that if you can, you must examine the book closely, because there are plenty of undergraded books in many slabs, and as well as many overgraded books in slabs. Okay. I can tell you, over my lifetime, I have only bought 3 PGX slabs. Only 3. Okay. It's not because I am so wary that they don't know how to grade or they miss restorations. The bottom line for me is I need to see the book close enough, clear enough in order to judge the grade for myself. And if I see a book that I feel is fairly graded or undergraded for a reasonable price or cheap, I will buy it, regardless if it is CGC or PGX or CBCS. I don't have a problem buying PGX slab if I have a chance to examine the slabs closely and see the flaws for myself, to judge the slab for myself. So over the years I have bought only 3, but all 3 have been great buys because they were fairly graded, if not undergraded, and they went for dirt cheap. 20, 25, 30% below fair market value compared to an equivalent CGC slab. So when I see that kind of discrepancy, if I trust my eyes, ultimately it's about me trusting my own grading skills. Okay. And it go back to me harping on everyone that even if you are a slab collector, you would do yourself a big favor to learn how to grade, to be able to examine a slab to decide whether it is fairly graded or not. One of the reasons I don't crack out a lot of slabs, I know a lot of people that hate slabs would crack it out the moment they bought the slab. Personally, I don't like to do it because I don't like to destroy value. Okay, but on top of that, on many occasions when I get the slab, whether I bought it from Comic Link or eBay, after close examination, I feel that the book is slightly overgraded or grossly overgraded. And so it's best to keep that book in a slab to resell and not deal with having the book get downgraded after I crack it out. Because if I crack it out and have to resubmit that book again, most likely it's not going to get the same grade. Okay, I have seen this has happened to me too many times. I have cracked out a lot of slabs in my earlier days. I don't crack out that many slabs in the past 3 years. But if I had a YouTube channel, say 5-6 years ago, you probably would see me cracking out a lot more slabs. And I can tell you from my personal experiences, I have seen, for every book that I think is undergraded, I would see a book that is overgraded. So I learned to stop cracking out books for the sake of loving to have raw books. I buy a book because I want it, and then if I examine the slabs, the books in the slabs later, and find that it is to be overgraded, I'm going to leave that book in a slab and sell it. Now, perhaps my standard of grading is a little bit tighter than CGC. So be it. I am comfortable with the way I grade my books. So whether the grade in the slab is fair compared to what I think in my head, that's fine with me. I'd rather not crack that book out and then try to convince the next buyer that that's the grade. Okay, that's the thing. I'm not a big fan of trying to convince somebody that disagree with me regarding any grades on any book. The way I sell my books raw over the past many years is that this is my grade. If you disagree with it, that's fine. If I make a mistake, if I miss a flaw, that's fine. I will refund your money. But more often than not, my grade is my grade. I only have 3 occasions in my history of selling thousands of books that people disagree with my grades, and for those occasions I just ask the person to return the books. No biggie. I'm not going to be offended if you think my grade is wrong. But more than often, I find that I'm a pretty fair grader. So for this video, hopefully what people can take away is that it's important to examine the books in the slab regardless of what that number says. Okay, too often I see people blindly buy the slabs only to complain later that, oh, I see this flaw, that flaw, and this. I can't believe this book is in a 9.4 slab or 9.8 slab. I can't believe it happens. Many times the flaws are visible. for you to see before you buy it. So my best advice is, especially when you're buying books from, say, Heritage or Comic Connect, with big, beautiful, clear scans, you should be able to see the majority of the flaws clearly before you make the bid for that book. Now with Comic Link, that's a different story. I have had so many gamble. I have to make gambles bidding on books on Comic Link because they don't provide big enough scans, in my opinion, as well as back cover scan. And sometimes I'm guilty. I am guilty of not requesting the back cover scans, but make no mistake, on big books that go north of say $300, I would like to see the scan of the back cover, because that's just too much money at risk. It's crazy to bid $1,000 on a book without seeing what the back cover look like. But my guess is, given that Comic Link continue to list their auctions even with big books without back covers, my guess is I might be in the minority. Too many people are just trusting that top left number. Okay, and that's my biggest gripes with Slab, is that I have seen enough slabs and seen enough books that I disagree with as far as the grades on both undergrade and overgrade. I have seen my share that I think it is crazy that too many people are trusting the top left number and not use some common sense and examine the book closer before they make the bid. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this series of video, because there's always many things to talk about when it comes down to slabs. Hate it or love it. Bye.